Do not ever give up. That is the model of my journey for the past 15 years and now the path towards me getting my degree at CSU Global. I have spent the past decade and a half working toward finding my passion and being a contribution to society. While my youth education started at the University of Findlay in Ohio with a horsemanship associate's degree, I ultimately landed in Arizona as a motorcycle mechanics instructor. And although I did not seek out a role of leadership, it was through making a connection with my adult students that I found my calling. While in Arizona, I learned to organize and structure a positive learning environment that fostered the development of my many students who without guidance would have normally failed. I have always carried an inner calling to help those below me. My adventure to Colorado and CSU Global is a unique and interesting story. While working and traveling in many states over the course of my life, I ultimately chose to settle down in rural Ohio where I grew up and most of my family reside. Then there is this girl. We met in Columbus, Ohio, and she lived in California at the time. My malleable heart caused me to move across country where we began a life together, attempting to break into the show horse industry as trainers. As this is a very competitive and cutthroat market, we decided to move back to my native Ohio, where I found steady paying employment with a globally known food production company. From this point, I decided to pursue obtaining leadership positions in this industry. An opportunity arose where my newlywed wife and I were able to move to Colorado. She had a position in her field of horse training, and I was able to transfer to a new startup plant for my company. Moving to a different state was not without challenges for me. Coming from the original and long-established factory in Orville, Ohio, many of the current employees at the Longmont, Colorado plant had serious biases against me even before they knew me. I had to go into this plant with a very humble attitude despite my realm of knowledge and expertise. It was here where I truly learned how to be a leader. In taking this course, I've learned how to become more efficient and effective with my time management. I have learned how to use gathering points, mostly in the physical sense within my home and daily life, which has helped to transfer into my professional life. My wife greatly appreciates when I come home from work or when I have a day off that my tools and toys, especially my hunting gear, find a home off of our cadenza shelves in the kitchen. Dave Crenshaw, in his LinkedIn video, established how having a physical gathering place could help organize unprocessed things should go as papers, letters, and other collections I seem to gather on a daily basis. I have established a 2-week rule for the items that collect here. It helps to keep me organized in my personal and entertainment life, which in turn makes my hectic professional life less stressful. Starting at a new plant and a new state was quite difficult for my wife and I. We knew very few people, we lived in a small, overpriced rental house, and we're not sure when things would improve for us financially in the future. I found strength in talking to my brother, a man who is 10 years older than myself and a decorated Marine. He is the ultimate example of character, and he helped me to examine myself introspectively as a leader. Through his strength, I have learned how to accept my role in my failures and my successes, which in turn made me a better role model to those that I was in charge of. Pierre Cass, in our readings, spoke of energy and how one must be introspective in order to inspire others. My brother Pat showed me how to evaluate myself both positively and negatively in order to be someone that others would want to follow, as I do him. As my role began to develop in this new startup company, I quickly realized that I could be an agent of change as an influencer despite not having formal leadership role. According to Wild and Messina, influence cannot happen without influencers. there must be agents that propel influence. In an organization, there are three primary agents: the individual, the team, and the culture. I was determined to set a culture within my coworkers that would be a positive, effective environment so we could all look forward to coming to work daily. The biggest single thing that I found effective was a happy, positive, welcoming perspective every morning or start of shift when I arrived. According to Sarah Fister Gale, I tend to lean toward the democratic leadership style at my place of employment. This may be due to the fact that I do not have a formal leadership title at this point, but I expect to advance to one in the near future. Ultimately, I would like to combine the strategic leadership style with the democratic style, as I feel this would benefit both the management team and the plant floor worker employees at the same time. Happy production employees make for less time off and less production mishaps as more people are invested in doing a good job, a correct job. As a leader, I try to model best practices as a production team member while also being open to hearing their concerns and passing this information on to the next level. Moving into a leadership position was a welcome change for me. However, it did bring about challenges. My colleagues, who were once my equals, were now my subordinates according to title. And while I try and treat everyone with respect and equality, I did run into situations where my friends hoped that I could do them certain favors and that I had a more powerful role. This was quite the conundrum. Here I recall the words of Brenda Bailey Hughes in her video, Organizational Communication, Ethical Communication, where she says, first, remember that a positive communication climate requires credibility and openness. I was able to be straightforward with my colleagues and speaking as a friend when I addressed the subject. I told them straight up that in my new position, I would love to help them out as best I could, but I do not put my professional position in jeopardy by doing special favors for them. Luckily, they are understanding and it became a non-issue. My goal in the future is to obtain my degree and earn a formal position in management at my company. I truly believe everyone has something to share, and if we empower one another in a positive way, we can make the planet a better place for all of us.